On a hot afternoon in Chitwe village in Timber Parish in Galilaaya sub-county, Kayunga district, a fairly strong wind blows off Lake Kyoga, enveloping the village where at least 450 people have been cut off from the entire sub-county due to flooding. The floods have submerged sections of the roads, making Chitwe an island of sorts and prompting beleaguered residents to resort to using boats to travel to nearby villages.
This is where my family sleeps. My wife and I sleep with our 2 children on the same bed. The water is 2 inches above ground. This is the situation we are in.
The floods have also destroyed houses, farms and pit latrines, a situation that residents and local leaders say is a disaster waiting to happen.
Since all the pit latrines were destroyed by the floods, people have long holes in the water in their compounds. The most common disease here is diarrhea. The new term has started, but our pupils are not yet in school.
Esther Nachejwe, a resident of Kawongo landing site, lost her home in the floods and her entire plot is submerged in Lake Kyoga.
I find it difficult to enter my house because of the water. My garden was also submerged, so I cannot dig for food.
Christine Nakafero, a grandmother of 11, also abandoned her home and is now renting in the trading center. Without a source of income, paying rent is a challenge.
I rent land to plant maize to feed my family, but whatever I get is spent on rent and food.
Lake Kyoga is a large shallow lake that is fed by water from the Victoria Nile and a number of rivers in the Mount Elgon region. Every year it floods its banks. In Kayunga district, central forest reserves like Bajo, Chiwula and Wanale, which were acting as water catchment areas, have been cut down to pave way for sugarcane growing. The floods that hit the area 2 months ago have cut off the 3 villages of Chitwe, Kalenge and Chiriola, with an estimated 650 residents affected. This situation is similar to previous flooding in 2018 and 2021. To ease transport, in 2022 the government, through the Office of the Prime Minister, donated 2 boats to the flooded villages. Residents pay a fee of 300 shillings to use the boat service.
We use oars on the boats, but they are heavy. Those who donated the boats should give us engines. There are some places where the boats cannot go because the level of the water is very high.
Access to social amenities is difficult, especially if someone needs urgent medical attention at night.
We use boats to go to the hospital. Pregnant women are giving birth at home because of lack of transport. Sometimes the boats are absent when you need them, so a patient can die in your arms as you wait.
The floods have not spared livelihoods either.
We used to plant maize and cassava for sale. Unfortunately, our gardens are submerged and the crops were destroyed.
Alfred Othieno, the chairman of Kawongo Landing Site Fishing Community Association, says the floods have displaced the breeding grounds of silverfish, which is locally called mukene, with the fishermen now docking in residential areas to catch the fish. Mukene is exploited for both human consumption and animal feeds manufacture.
The places where we used to dry mukene are now occupied by boats. Previously, we would park the boats in the sand at the shore. Now we park them on rocky ground, which causes them to break down faster. Every time we have floods, there is a scarcity of fish in the lake. The fish run away from the middle of the lake and hide in the swamps on the sides of the lake.
The borehole in Timber Village that had been serving 350 households, including 600 pupils of Ntimba Primary School, was submerged. Now, without a source of clean and safe water, residents drink unsafe water that they collect from their flooded compounds. Lake Kyoga is crocodile infested, and residents say because of the flooding, the animals are now roaming the village.
We have become food for the crocodiles. There are many of them. When we see them, we run into our houses with our children. But the houses are full of water. The situation is really bad.
Andrew Muwonge, the Kayunga district chairperson, says the office of the Prime Minister promised to send relief items to the flood victims.
The OPM promised us that by the end of next week, they will have brought relief items. We requested the government to help us with the school children because we have been informed that the water has crocodiles. It will really be a bad situation if a crocodile eats up a child.
The residents have called on the government to buy land in another part of Kayunga district and relocate them.
There is a gentleman called in Agenda who is looking for someone to buy his land. The government can buy that land and distribute it among our families so that the entire village shifts to Nagenda's land.
A number of districts share Lake Kyoga, and these include Kaberamaido, Kumi, Soroti, Kamuli, Palisa, Masindi, Lira, Apach Nakasongola and Kayunga. However, Kayunga has been most affected by its floods.